So, although today is 1031, we're going to do the 1026 opener, which is going to be the review before we take simplifying square roots with variable quiz. So the first one, the first two problems, we're just simplifying square roots. You guys know how to simplify square roots already. The only new thing that's getting thrown in there is going to be the variable. So when we go to simplify square roots, we always start by factoring the number part of the radicand. So you have to think to yourself, what two numbers can you multiply together to get 770? Okay? So 7 is my prime. Then what for 110? 11 is prime, so I'm going to circle it. And then for 10, then I'm going to come down, put my equal sign because that's important, and my square root sign. Now I'm going to put my prime numbers in order from least to greatest, just like I normally would. So 2 times 5 times 7 times 11. Now I'm going to put in my variable, times d to the 7th power. My next step would be to circle my factor pairs. Do I have any factor pairs? No. Since I don't have any factor pairs, I then need to move to step 2 on my note sheet. Step 2 on my note sheet says to look at my variable, then look at the exponent. Is my exponent odd or even?
Odd.
Odd. Because it's odd, I'm going to have one variable left as the radicand. And then I'm going to take 1 off the 7 to get 6. Then you think to yourself, what is half of 6?
3.
So my coefficient is going to be d to the 3rd power. Then I put my square root sign. And then I go ahead and I simplify my radicand. Well, because my prime numbers didn't have any factor pairs, what's 2 times 5 times 7 times 11 going to equal right back to? 770. And then what's the variable I have left on the inside?
D.
D.
6.
So that's your final answer.
That's what I had when I heard you said it was wrong.
That's what you had?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I just didn't like your handwriting. I don't know.
I thought it was 70, not 70. I don't get it at all. So we can take this.
Okay, so let's look at the next one. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is factor the number part of my radicand. So what two numbers can you multiply together to get 162?
18.
Darius?
8.
No, what did you say?
9 and 18.
9 and 18?
Oh.
Okay.
I said 82.
Then for 9, Brianna?
That's 3. And 3. And for 18, 2 and 9.
Oh, yeah.
And then for that 9, 3 and 3.
Okay. All old stuff. I come down. I put my equal sign. Jemiah, when I first drop down, what's the first thing I need to write after that equal sign? The 5, the coefficient, the 5. Then I'm going to write my square root. Devante, what do I write under my square root sign? What else? Not yet. What else do I have to write, though? The new part. Times b. Now, I circle my factor pairs. Remember, my factor pairs cancel with my square root sign, and that's going to join my 5 as a single number in the coefficient. So when I go to find my new coefficient, the number part of my coefficient, I'm going to have to take 5 times 3 times 3. So Brendan, what's 5 times 3? What? And then 15 times 3? 45. So now that I've done the number part of my coefficient, I have to do the variable part of my coefficient. So I look at my first variable there. I have a to the 11th power. 11 Odd or even? Bless you.
That's odd.
Okay, so take 1 off of it and you get an.
5.
Okay. Well, wait. Take 1 off and you get.
10.
So half of 10, as you just said, was.
5.
So a to the 5th will be my coefficient. Now, remember, we took 1 off, so we have an a stuck in there. Anytime you have an odd exponent, that variable, you'll have 1 variable stuck as the radicand. Then we look at our next variable, Isaiah, b to the 1st power. It's an odd number, right? And there's only 1 of it. So because there's only b to the 1st, does it have an even number where I can move it out? No, so it stays stuck in the radicand as well. So I'm done with my coefficient from this part. Put my square root sign in, and then I determine what my radicand's going to be. So what's the number part of my radicand, Beyonce? The number part. Okay, and now my variable. You don't have to put the b, or times.
Oh, okay.
And then that's your final answer. So, I'm sorry, what? He should be getting it for you. Then we'll talk to him when he comes up, and if he didn't, we'll figure something out, okay? All right, do you all have this down? Okay. Now the last one is multiplication. So we're multiplying square roots with variables. You're going to start the exact same way as if you were multiplying square roots. So we start by first multiplying our coefficient. When I multiply together my coefficients, what do I get? After I multiply my coefficients, what do I do?
You go to the factor.
I don't need to quite write that. Yeah, I'm going to go factor the number part of my radicand. So, what 2 numbers can I use to multiply together to get 18, Nick? What 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 18? And then for 6? Okay, and then I go to my next radicand, 2. Can I factor the 2?
No.
But you still have to circle it because you're still going to use that as one of our prime numbers to go under our square root sign. Now, because we're multiplying, we drop down and put them under the same square root sign. Deontay, so when I go to write my prime numbers on the same square root sign, what should I write?
2 times 3 times 3.
Good. And now, here's the new part. You have to take e squared times e to the 9th. If the variables are the same, you can go ahead and combine them. How do you combine them? Add them. So what do you get? So e to the 11th. Thank you. From here, we go back to what we know. Circle our factor pairs. Okay, so what's my new coefficient going to be? Raise your hand if you can tell me what my new coefficient is going to be. 18. Beyonce took 3 times 2 to get 6, then 6 times 3 to get 18. Now we look at the variable part. Odd or even? Odd. So we take 1 off, and it's going to be 10. So what's half of 10? So my coefficient is going to be e to the 5th square root. Now, what do I have left as the radicand? Just 1e. Have I ever had more than one variable stuck under the radicand? More than I have AB, sometimes AB, but to a power. Do I have ever e to the 2nd or e to the 3rd? No, I only end up with 1 to the power of 1.